takes up, and we can simply.
Thank you, Dave. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. We haven't talked. Welcome to Sensitivity Training. I'm Diana, and you are.
Dave.
Oh, what is this hand on hip?
Oh, we didn't do the dancing.
Oh, but you
Wait,
didn't
can
put
I
the
just-
music on.
What? Yeah, can
It's
I?
It's hot in here.
Is it? Can I just open up? Can we have a guest next week?
Now you ask me, what am I supposed to say on live TV? Yeah, who is it? Do I have to guess?
My Facebook friend Jay Testa, who's
You have two Facebook friends, Jay Testa and me.
Yeah.
So your other Facebook
and he's
friend.
in the Donald Trump
Oh, really?
camp. Yeah, and I just wait.
my
Can I
goodness.
just say?
Is Dave?
And
Dave,
if
hi
he
Dave.
shows
Is he
his
watching?
face,
So Dave's gonna like this.
you better exercise your Second Amendment right because I'm gonna murder you.
Wait a minute. Exercise your Second
See you next week.
Amendment right, meaning his right to bear arms.
Yeah, you better bring a gun.
You better bring a gun. Is that like Annie, get your gun? I got a present. Okay, so while I'm doing
I just wanted
this,
to do that so I could get a clip and I could put it on
and
Facebook
so you can
and he
put it
has
on
to
Facebook.
show up.
Okay, so
yeah.
Dave, what's his name? Jay.
Jay.
My brother's name is Jay. Hey, Dad. I had to say hi to my
He likes
father.
Ben Carson too.
Ben Carson's an interesting character, and you know what? Ben Carson's wife, Candy, her name is Candy. Who names his kid? Anyway, she's very articulate. But you know what pisses me off? And I just have to say,
A
I
picture
saw.
of him with Jesus.
No, that doesn't piss me off. I'm a little irked, right? Because people who have money can make money. And I'm not one of those people yet. So she wrote a book. And the name of the book is Doctor in the House, or Is There a Doctor in the House, whatever. She said, yeah, we wrote it in a month. They wrote it in a month because they probably had this like team of people.
Ghost Rider.
And now they're gonna make $1 gazillion. I mean, come on, do they need any
She
more
should
money?
have named it Candyland.
Oh, that's funny. She's very articulate. You know they're Seventh-day Adventists or something? You know that? Haha, so, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. What'd you do for New Year?
Nothing.
I mean nothing. Did you go anywhere?
No, I hate New Year's and my girlfriend and I, we were struggling to find something. I ended up fighting and,
What do you mean you fought? You had a fight?
yeah.
Is she watching the show?
Yeah.
So you had no plan. You didn't have a plan like
we were gonna have a party, but it turned out to be a bus. So then I was scrambling to try to, because I had a friend who was gonna come in.
It's a long story. But you know what? Well, you should have just run out and got her a bouquet of flowers. And then so you had a fight, and then
Well, she should've
what
got
happened?
me
Did you
a
have a kiss
bouquet.
at midnight then?
Kinda.
Wait, I'm serious. Like, was she still fighting with you at that
Yeah,
point?
we were still fighting.
And then you just kissed and then continued to fight?
Yeah, well, we're. I don't
I don't want to know about the bump and uglies part.
No.
But here, this is for Jay.
Where did you get that?
Is that awesome, Dad? You can't call in, but is that awesome? I'm gonna make that into something and put it on my car. That's not funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
You don't even laugh. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, it's his hair.
Okay, just so you know. So I found that on the internet. But let me just quickly, before we get into the meat of this, I had a date on New Year's Eve
Really?
that I didn't know about. So
Like you
I
set
didn't
up?
know that I was supposed to have a date. Okay? New Year's, I was by myself, so happy, roaring fire. I fell asleep before midnight.
This sounds creepy.
Then I woke up before midnight. Okay? Now, because I had a little nap, I was like, I was restless, nothing good on TV, the ball dropped, all that stuff. So I'm reading. I'm in bed and I'm reading. I didn't have any alcohol. Okay? And all of a sudden I hear like the doorknob in the kitchen. And I'm like, what the heck's going on? And I thought in my imagination, then I hear it again. So in the kitchen of the house that I'm renting,
Is this gonna turn in? Never mind.
it's gonna turn into scary. It has a one of those doors that have like 6 panels of glass in them. And it's when you go out of the kitchen, you're in a big enclosed sunroom, huge. There's a freaking guy there.
Jeez.
I am not kidding you. my date, right? So he knew I had a date, but I didn't know I had a date. So,
Wait, what?
yes,
All right, wait. Who is this person?
I don't know who this guy is.
And did he run away or?
No, he continued to try to get in. So, of course, I had a heart attack, and then I had another heart attack, because I go to the door, and I'm like, I honestly, and you know what, if you're watching, remember we had that discussion months and months ago about people poop themselves when they're really scared?
Yeah.
I did not poop myself, so I could see,
shit.
but I was really scared. So, he keeps trying to get in, he won't talk to me. I'm afraid to go there. And so then I go back, I grab my cell phone, I'm calling the police, right?
Wait, so there's glass and he can see you, you can see him?
He can see me, I can see him, and to top it all off,
Wait, and you're kind of like isolated, right?
yeah. And so then when you, if you pan this way, like where the dining room is, there's like 4 glass windows. Like it's a whole glass room that I used to lock. And then I'm like, you're paranoid, Diana, right? What are you locking it for, right? Luckily I had locked the kitchen door, and sometimes I leave it unlocked. Okay? Even though I'm usually more secure, but I thought, where I live, I'm fine. But anyway, so we're standing there. So I call the police, and now I don't have my shoes on because they're out in the sun porch. They're like, can you go somewhere safe? And I'm like, I don't know, I'm in the house. He said, the sun, anyway. So then I go back to him and to tell him that I'm on the phone with the police. Now I can see him. He's still trying to get in. He has blood. I'm not kidding you.
Oh.
He's got blood on his face. He's got blood on his hands.
So is he just like drunk and didn't know where he was?
He is so drunk that once I saw him moving very slowly, like, you know, The Walking Dead, he moved more slowly than The Walking Dead. Anyway.
So he just didn't
His
know where
hair
he
was wild. Yeah. And then,
How
anyway.
old was he?
He's probably, I want to say mid-30s. He looked rough. I said to the police, he looks really wild. At that point, I was still scared, but not as scared because he wasn't moving quickly. Anyway, there was not a lot of blood, but blood, doorknobs, anyway. They took him away, whatever. The next day, I go looking outside. And what had happened is like a big embankment between up here. He had fallen down that because you could see the stones pushed out. And so the cops said that he had split his head open. And that's why, hence the blood. But had he not...
So he was just looking for a nice person to help him out. And
No,
like, get away!
He was looking for a house on a street that was like 2 miles away. I don't even know how he got there. But anyway, that was I took up too much time.
We've all been there, you know.
I took up too much time. But anyway, so...
Have you ever fallen asleep on the T?
No.
Don't do it on the green line. You end up.
No, actually, that's
someplace.
not true. I did fall asleep on the red line when I worked a night shift at Mass General. I did. I fell asleep. I missed it, and I had to go back, and yeah, so I did. I lied.
But if you're like really drunk, it's.
I did not
scary.
ever fall asleep on the T really drunk. Okay, so I guess you're not voting for Trump?
No.
You're not. So we went to Lowell. He was in Lowell last night. I didn't get to see what he said. But he drew a big crowd.
He was saying some nice stuff about Tom Brady.
Yeah, I think they're best buds. But anyway, so let's just segue because I know we were
Is
gonna.
that yours or is that?
That's not
something?
mine. Let's just segue because I know you wanted to talk about taxes and stuff like that. But in terms of football, what do you think? Like, what do you think the Patriots' chance? What do you think?
I don't know.
You know, I mean, just because they're not the number 1 seed, they still have a bye.
Yeah, but
I think
wait,
we're
what
still
were
in
they?
good position.
10-0 and.
No, we're like 12-4. 12-4.
Yeah,
right?
no, but weren't they 10-0 and they went 2-4?
Right, but they lost. Who did they lose? Everybody. Edelman, Amendola. Dad, help me out here. They lost some linemen. They lost Blunt.
Early on,
Lewis. So they had lost Chung. So I think that when they played on Sunday, I think their plan was test out the running game and let's just get through this, nobody get injured. But of course, Brady has a high ankle sprain because that big fat guy who's a dirty player fell on him. He's a dirty player. I don't like him. Makes me nervous.
I don't know if he's a big fat guy.
He is. He's 300 pounds.
He's big.
300 pounds.
Yeah, but in a race, he could probably.
He's 300 pounds.
So?
He's got to be at least 100 pounds overweight.
No.
No?
No.
He's over 3. Look him up. Something Sue. Humdama, I can't pronounce his name. It's S-U-H, right? He was on the Lions. He's a bad boy. I don't know if people out there watch football. Yeah.
Let's see if you can
Nadama, his weight. 307.
A shirtless pic.
He's 4'2" and he weighs 307.
4'2"?
Yeah, he weighs 307. You don't think that's fat?
Wait, what do you mean 4'2"?
Oh, I'm sorry, 6'4".
4'2", like this little guy running around. Yeah, well, 6'4".
Bob, he does the 40 in 4.98 seconds.
Well, he's not big and fat.
Okay, but he's got some muscle. Yeah, I guess you're right. He probably could lose, after football, he probably could lose about 75 pounds. 6'4", you have no...
Yeah, but they stock up for their...
Yeah, I get it, but so he's not
and
fat?
And also, he's probably faster than you and...
What does one thing have to do with another?
Because he's big and athletic.
The fat guy who's a dirty player landed on Tom Brady's ankle.
He's
and
not
now he has
Vince
a sprain.
Wilfork, but Wilfork can
right.
also...
He actually is leaner looking than
Wilfork can probably beat you in a race
Wilfork
easy
can
too.
you up, I bet. Anyway, so that's I have my notes, but what else do you want to talk about? I made some notes.
No, well, we were going to talk about tuition and tax rates.
I did some reading. Tell me what you found out.
About college tuition?
Yeah.
So...
Because we had this discussion off camera.
If I had at the end of last show, I think we talked about
Did
it.
we?
Yeah.
God, my memory's not good.
But so if I had a printer, I would have printed out the stuff and highlighted it and read it. But, it was just these insane, how it's since 1970 or 80, tuition has quadrupled and stuff. But it's not, so I was just thinking
I'm
that
just going to tidy up.
colleges are evil.
I want to hear you say it. Because I know what you're thinking.
Say what?
Because you know what? I'm starting to feel a little Republican resentment coming from your side of the desk.
Yeah, because I was going more towards the right, but after talking to you, I think I'm going back.
So, but I'm starting to feel like a little.
That's mostly just the Trump stuff.
I'm starting to feel like a little blame, like it's the Republicans that the college's tuition is going up. Am I misreading this?
No, that's why I wanted to do. So you want to talk about the presidential race?
We're going to talk about this for the next year, honey.
Yeah, I know.
We get time.
Because So I was thinking, let's talk about some smaller topics that don't have anything to do with.
So how come you're not
left
talking
or right
about
politics? Wait, so. But anyways, it's not because I thought maybe the teachers were lining their pockets or something, but I think
it's the administrators.
Yeah.
So okay.
The administration has grown, and the teachers are actually making similar to what they were making in the 70s.
Well, not that bad.
Yeah,
I'm going to say a lot of politically incorrect things, so if you don't like it, you might want to turn the volume down. Go on.
What are you going to say? Teachers are bad? Or
oh, no. I'll tell you.
But
I love teachers.
But, tenure isn't growing. Or, I don't know, but it's basically, the administration is growing. They're building more facilities to attract the rich people with rich parents who can pay these big prices. And, it also said something about, D1, some coaches or the people who run the schools make 7 figures, and then some coaches
They also
make
bring a lot of money in.
Yeah, but
right?
But the thing is, I went to a school that sports wasn't.
Preschool doesn't count. Just. But anyway, I digress.
But I'm trying to talk serious here.
I'm sorry. Last week you told me you wanted me to lighten up.
Yeah,
you told me to lighten up.
I had to interrupt my nap to come here, and so I'm a little cranky. But I want
to blah.
I have an idea to lighten it up. I don't know if I want to tell you or surprise you, but I didn't have time.
Surprise me. Okay. Surprise me, because I got a lot of surprises in store for you there.
It's
when
be
Jay comes next week, that's going to be fun.
It's going to be a third co-host. Yeah.
A third co-host, forever?
No, you'll see.
It can't be this big fat guy because there's no room here for him.
No,
I'm
but-
sorry. I don't care how far back you pull the camera.
What was I saying?
We're talking about college
But yeah, so
tuition.
my school costs a lot,
What school do you go to?
and Harvard.
You didn't go to Harvard. My ass,
Davidson.
you went to Harvard. Where
Davidson
is that?
College.
Oh yeah, I saw it on Facebook. Where is that?
Outside of Charlotte, North Carolina.
Charlotte.
Do
Yeah.
you know Stephen Curry, the MVP of the NBA?
No, I don't follow basketball.
Well, he went there.
Wonderful. Big applause.
And that's the only reason why people
Okay.
up here know.
How much was your tuition?
I don't know, but a lot.
Are you still paying a student loan?
No, wait, let me finish. May I finish?
You're going into
But the sports wasn't, I'm just saying, like, some schools, where like football or basketball is big, it's the same price everywhere though. So it's not, I don't think sports,
Well, it is. It depends on if it's a big name school that's bringing in. That's what happened in, was it Michigan, Mizzou? Where the hell? Not Michigan, Mississippi, Missouri. Where was that? The one where they had the protest. The guy everybody got together. Missouri, right? And why did they fire that guy? Not because he didn't do a good job, but because the students were threatening not to play football, and they were going to lose $1 million for that game, right? But so what? I guess. Do you just want to know why, and then you're done? Like you're satisfied with that, or do you want colleges to be free, like Bernie Sanders?
No, I wanted to know what. Oh, and also, so it was cheap. So the article, it was like a New York Times article that said like the idea out there is that, or like the theory out there is that there was more like federal and state funding in the 60s and 70s, and that's why college costs so much. But I think the government funding for schools has grown, like including inflation.
More.
Yeah, well, they have government funding, so it's not that
So it washes
they
out.
lost that.
Yes. Okay.
It's just, but the tuition is still rising.
Am I allowed to talk yet?
No.
Do you want to finish?
No, I just.
Jay, I bet you can't wait to come on the show, huh? Is he watching tonight?
I don't know.
Am I allowed to talk now?
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of thoughts.
Yeah.
You're gonna be.
Wait,
no,
you're
not
gonna vote
be-
for Trump?
Why not?
Because he's a Democrat.
He's voting Republican. I don't care. The thing is, I was talking to my father this evening about Trump. Excuse me. And I said to him, Dad, I'm a little embarrassed about saying that I'm voting for Trump because he says such outrageous things. And my father said, well, I don't want to vote for him because just because he can run a business, how can he run a country? And that's my point. He can run a business. The guy can run a business, right? And business people are very efficient. They get shit done. They get it done. They are cost effective, right?
But the government isn't.
But he's gonna. Why can't he try to change that?
So he from a business where he controls everything to a government with
Where you
a
have
country
Congress
with
that
three-
you're not
yeah.
supposed to usurp, like Obama just did his executive thing today.
But like
Is that kind of government?
No, but you can't get the president can't get anything done.
Why not? What did Donald Trump? Well, I guess my point is, what's
I
the
don't- well-
difference between having him or Clinton or Obama, who didn't do a good job, or Clinton, who's
Wait,
all the
Obama
bad things?
didn't do a good job?
No, he didn't do a good job.
Why?
Race relations are lower than they were 20 years ago. Did you know that?
No, well, it's probably we're just talking about it now. Wait, but besides race relations, why are you worse off now than 8 years ago?
I think people are angrier, including myself,
Wait, about what?
about the shape of the country. I just think
Like, what's wrong?
there's a lot of things wrong. Number one, let's go, and I'm going to draw a parallel between what's wrong and your college.
Wait, I thought it was just about. Don't people just care about money? Like, you don't care about black people in Chicago. It's just
Yes,
about
I do
money.
care about black people in Chicago. I actually do care about black
But is
people in
Chicago
Chicago.
worse off today than it was 8 years ago? I'm just saying,
I don't know the statistics.
people
on
don't
that,
really care. They just
but
care
let me
about
tell
their
you-
money, and so if you
But I
have money...
do. But the thing is, so just because I'm a Republican, I care about what happens in Chicago. And to see, we could go on this whole thing with Chicago, and that when you asked me a couple weeks ago, and I didn't know at the story at the time when Laquan McDonald got shot by the police officer 16 times, right? That's what and I didn't know the story, right? Did you know that went under wraps, that Mayor Emanuel, who's big buds with Obama, they kept that under wraps because Emanuel was up for re-election. Now, ordinarily, Obama's out there saying, hey, he looks like my son, everybody, right? But Obama didn't do that. He kept his lips shut. That's why. That's another reason why I don't like
Wait,
him.
what does Obama have to do with that? Wasn't it the mayor and the chief of
It
police?
was, but the point is, Obama came out for all the other police shootings against a black male. Okay, some of which I think were justified and some
He did?
that yes, he did.
I didn't get this, like I made a Christmas list to Santa, and
Did you ask for coal?
no, but I didn't get something on it, and it's Obama's fault.
It probably is. But the point is, people think, I do care. I do care about. And what I'm saying is, instead of having all those Al Sharptons and all those talking about Black Lives Matter, why aren't people, do you know how many murders there are in Chicago? Do you have any idea? Like 1,000 or something. There's so many murders. Why aren't we in there taking care of that?
So wait, so if there was, I just don't
You asked
think.
me about Obama.
Yeah, I just like.
Why isn't he focusing on that? Or he's got to make an executive order to change the name of the frickin' Mount McKinley in Alaska. Make an executive order to have people go in
There's
south side of Chicago.
there's more than one thing to do as the president, right?
Okay, so it's more important to change the name of Mount McKinley to Mount Denali than it is to help these people, these poor people
Okay,
in
so
Chicago.
all right,
Hello?
look at these
I never got
crime
my
rates in
point.
Chicago, and so Obama's supposed to stop governing the country and just focus on the city. What about you? What's wrong with you today?
What's wrong with me today?
Yeah, how has Obama hurt you?
How has Obama hurt
Is
me?
it that gay people are getting more of a...
Honestly, I'll tell you why. How I feel like as a white person, because I feel like race relations aren't as good. I feel like as...
So if Obama were white, things would be better.
Yeah, no. What I'm saying is, I was talking to my friend Zach today, and I'm all about teams, okay? Obama is a splitter. He's a splinterer. So yes, it
And
has
Bush-
affected me.
Bush did a good job of
you asked
bringing
me about
everybody
Obama.
together.
I'm saying,
Yeah, every president is a
first
splitter.
this is what you're telling me. You're telling me Obama he's got more important things to do, so he shouldn't go into Chicago and deal with that. But yet when the Cambridge police investigate this Professor Gates trying to get into his house because they got a phone call that said, hey, there's a suspicious guy here, Obama can get up in front of the world and say the Cambridge police acted stupidly. He can do that about one guy, but he can't figure out with his buddy, Emmanuel, he can't figure out how to help the poor black kids that are dying in Chicago? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, well, every time he says cops need to stop shooting black people...
Black people are shooting black people in Chicago. It's black on black crime.
So?
What do you mean so?
So, alright, so he should grab a badge and
What I'm saying is,
roam the
if
streets?
you want him to mind his
Vigilante justice?
if you want him to mind his own business, he should mind it across the board.
Yeah, well, that...
Because
yeah, and he went to the White House and had brunch with
he had a beer with
Obama, right?
that guy, the police
that's-
officer. Yeah, and the police officer probably went because he was probably political. But I would have told him to go f himself. I wouldn't have gone. I wouldn't have shaken his hands. The police officer in Cambridge that Obama called stupid.
I thought you were talking about is it the Gates guy who got arrested?
Yes.
I remember he went to the White House. I don't remember the cop.
No,
went to White House.
the cop had a beer.
Anyways.
But I guess my point, here's my point, right? And here's my point, is because what Obama ended up doing, now we have the Black Lives Matter movement, right? And even though it's black people and white people, it still divides us. And it doesn't help those poor black kids in Chicago. What it does is it separates people. Now it's telling people even more. We don't give a shit about them. That's my point. You see what I'm saying? It would have been better not to have a Black Lives Matter movement. Because what did they do? They shut down 93, right? And now people go, screw you. Screw you and what you stand for.
No, well, I think a lot of people say the Black Lives Matter movement is important.
Who's it important to? Because talk to anybody who doesn't believe in Black Lives Matter, and you think that they're swayed by what they're doing. They shut down a freaking mall at Christmas time. Do you think that wins them applause? It doesn't.
Yeah, well, the American Revolution probably wasn't too popular in...
If your goal is to unite people and to get people to pay attention to you because you're black and you feel like you're discriminated, shutting down a mall at Christmas time doesn't help your cause. Blocking off 93 when people can't get by.
Wait, wasn't that the white people? That was for Black Lives Matter?
Yes, it was for Black Lives Matter.
Well, those were horrible white people.
Anyway, so for a show that we decided was going to be light, I hope you enjoyed it.
I need more time.